It has somewhat flown a little bit under the radar, but Dallas Cowboys passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach Kris has been touring around the country working out several cornerbacks in this year's draft class. With Byron Jones and Anthony Brown entering into the last year of their contracts, it wouldn't be all that surprising if the Cowboys draft a CB at some point in the 2019 NFL Draft. With that in mind, I thought it would be a good idea to share with you some of the cornerbacks the Dallas Cowboys could target in each round in which they hold a draft pick. In order to keep it as realistic as possible, I tried to narrow it down to the potential CB prospects that fit Richard's parameters. We all know he likes those tall, lengthy defensive backs, and that's what I tried to focus on. Let's take a look. Second round Vanderbilt CB Joejuan Williams. Justin Lane, Michigan State. Justin Lane was a 4-star wide receiver recruit coming out of high school, but ended up becoming a 3-year starter on the other side of the ball at cornerback during his time at Michigan State. He has tremendous ball skills due to his background at receiver and has the size and length, 6 feet 1 inch, 192. Kris covets in his defensive backs. He needs to continue to improve his overall technique, but he has day one starting potential. Joejuan Williams, Vanderbilt. Joejuan Williams was a 2-year starter during his time at Vanderbilt and primarily played press and off-man coverage. At just a smidge under 6 feet 4 inches, Williams typically towers over the wide receivers he faces, which has allowed him to find success at this point because of his mere size and length. He has the skill set and athleticism to become an eventual starter in the NFL, but really needs to develop his mechanics and the mental side of his game a little more. Third round Auburn CB Jamel Dean. Jamel Dean, Auburn. After overcoming 3 major knee injuries earlier in his career, Jamel Dean eventually became a 2-year starter to finish his career at Auburn. He has elite size, 6 feet 1 inch, 202, length 31 3/4, arms, and speed, 4.3 40-yard dash, but his durability is a red flag moving forward. He also needs to play with a little better mean streak, especially in press-man coverage. The talent is there though, and he has a chance to develop into a really good starting CB if he can stay healthy. Isaiah Johnson, Houston. Isaiah Johnson is another player with elite size, 6 feet 2 inches, 208, length 33 inches, arms, and speed, 4.4 40-yard dash, at the cornerback position, and is someone Kris has met with and worked out on a number of occasions. Johnson was a former 3-star wide receiver recruit coming out high school before making the switch to CB his final year in Houston. He played mostly bail technique for the Cougars and is still really raw as a CB prospect, but he has immense upside. He will likely need a year or two to further develop his craft before he can be relied upon. Fourth round Kentucky CB Lonnie Johnson Jr. Lonnie Johnson Jr., Kentucky. There are actually 3 Kentucky defensive backs the Dallas Cowboys could target, but Lonnie Johnson Jr. is the top-ranked prospect so far. He has the size, length the Cowboys are looking for, but he really needs to refine just about every aspect of his game before he's ready to compete at the next level. He has tremendous instincts which has gotten him to this point, but he's going to have to develop both technically and mentally if he wants to find any kind of success in the NFL. All of the tools are there though. Jordan Brown, South Dakota State. Jordan Brown was a 3-year starter at South Dakota State, playing primarily press and off-man coverage. He has the size, length to play as a boundary corner in the NFL, but only has average top-end speed. He is a competitor with a scrappy mentality that unfortunately runs a little hot and cold at times. He plays with good balance when making his transitions, which allows him to stick with receivers. Overall, he is a solid developmental mid-round pick with starting upside. Fifth round Miami CB Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, Miami. Michael Jackson was a 2-year starter at Miami on the right side, playing mostly press man. He is a good-sized athlete with the kind of length and athleticism Kris is looking for in his cornerbacks, but he has shown a tendency to struggle against savvy route runners. He's not the most fluid of athletes and will struggle in his transitions, so he might fit best in a defensive scheme that plays a lot of zone or cover 2. Kris Boyd, Texas. Kris Boyd was a 3-year starter during his time in Texas and played on both the right and left side, oftentimes shadowing the opposing team's best wide receiver. He plays with the desired competitive nature and checks all the boxes as far as size, speed, and athleticism are concerned for a starting caliber cornerback. But he plays undisciplined and doesn't trust his eyes, oftentimes causing him to arrive late with his reads. If he can become more disciplined, he could be a steal this late in the draft. 7th round, Kentucky CB. Kris Westry. Photo by Donald Page. Kris Westry, Kentucky. Kris Westry was a 3-year starter at Kentucky, but gradually started to see his playing time decrease with the emergence of Lonnie Johnson Jr. and Derek Beatty Jr. At 6 feet 4 inches, 199 pounds and legitimate 4.35 speed, Westry has extremely rare size and speed for the cornerback position. Unfortunately, he is a better athlete than he is a football player right now and might be nothing more than a developmental project. Derek Beatty Jr., Kentucky. Derek Beatty Jr. worked his way into the starting lineup at Kentucky as a freshman and ended up becoming a 4-year starter. He has excellent size for the position, 6 feet 2 inches, 197, and is light-footed with good ball skills, but he doesn't play with the kind of physicality you'd think from my player his size. He is an untrustworthy tackler and undisciplined with his fundamentals. His size and ball skills should get him drafted, but he might be nothing more than a developmental project. Let's block ads.